Hi everyone. Do you remember story about Baba Yaga? I don't. I actually remember just a very little bit, and usually as something evil old woman that is very evil and eating children. You may also have that connotation, that first connotation. And who would even think about her from adult people, and how the mythological Baba Yaga could help us in today's world? So it happened to me recently. Baba Yaga happened to me. And of course, I'm talking from the dreamland perspective, this other world that interferes with other consensus reality, what's happening everyday life. So I didn't like meet in a flesh, in a body, Baba Yaga, but I think it's already known that I'm talking about paranormal, supernatural creatures a lot of times, and sometimes also about self-realization slash some events that are happening currently in the world, because we are not free from that. They are piercing through a lot of my videos. But coming back to Baba Yaga, when it happens to you, as often when I'm dreaming about something or something happens in my life, then few of my friends dreaming the similar dreams, the puzzles are coming together. So it may happen that it also is a little bit about you. And it doesn't have to be Baba Yaga. It could be a monster. It could be another mythological, supernatural, paranormal creature out there. But today, I am not gonna talk about other like Lilith, Enki. That's gonna still come up. Centaurs, elves. I will stick to Baba Yaga. So, what do we know about Baba Yaga and how Baba Yaga can actually assist us in what's happening now? We know it was deformed woman, looking old. She was bad. She was living in the forest in the hat, and there were some skulls around. She was bad. That's the first impression. But in fact, she's a maternal role and is associated with a forest wildlife. She appears in the story most of the times as a bad person, but she is playing that character that it interferes, that evolves the main character, the hero, that the hero has to fight her, but sometimes she also helps the hero. She is associated with such words as cloud, moon, death, life, winter, snake, bird, goddess, totemic matriarchal ancestress, female initiator. And she is present in probably every culture. I only have from my notes a little bit from different cultures. But Eastern Slavic people were calling her midwife, sorceress, fortune tellers. In Russian, it was babushka, grandmother, and also in Polish language, babcia. Also in Bulgarian, Serbo-Croatian, it was grandma, meaning babcia. She also, in another Slavic language, Serb-Croatian, represents, is connected actually with words like horror, shudder, chill, anger, witch, legendary evil, female being, wicked wood nymph, dryad, evil woman, fairy, illness, disease, Old English, Inca, and I have no idea what Inca would be in this meaning, but it represents doubt, worry, and pain. And it's also to belittle someone, to exploit someone, to use someone. It was very much present in such a history about Hecate, Hansel and Gretel in Germany, Despoina, Greek mythology, Izanami, Yama Uba, that was a character in Japanese folklore. So every culture had and has Baba Yaga, and it's present all over the world. And I didn't know about her much until recently, and that was thanks to a great, lovely invitation I had, and I had the chance to work with two wonderful process-oriented psychologists who invited me for the session with them, and I'm thankful so much for this, because I was recently trapped in something that came up on such a session. And in this sort of session, you are working with no limits, and whatever you're coming with, it turns into completely something else, bringing you so much mythological meaning that you can later on put it in your life and get inspired from it. And you probably, they don't do it on purpose, but probably you can apply it in your consensus reality and even find solutions to your current whatever challenge you are dealing with, also with the word. I'm going to focus on the word now, although big part of that was my personal process. So here is what I messed up, or what I got trapped myself into, even though I know about it. We have those traps on our path, life journey. And it was a great one. It was mine, and it was shown to me in such a lovely way that I would love to learn more about it. So I knew basically everything. I understood. I read the books. I had many hours, sessions with people, with myself. And I realized that even though I knew about so-called beginner's mind, that's how they call it in process-oriented psychology, it happened to me, and it probably happened to me again. So I got stuck. Like, where do I go from here? When you know everything about, let's say, your challenge, your symptom, you studied it for years, you get it better, and then it's still happening to you. So you just cannot think of anything new anymore. So I lost that beginner's mind, because I already know where is it coming from. So what's now? And I compare it usually with children, because if you give a pen to a child, and kid doesn't know yet that it's supposed to be to use for writing. So kids will always come up with 20, 30 ideas. You can use a certain item, and we adults are so programmed what is for what, that we are losing the creative process and inventive mind, how we can use a certain item and how we can actually help ourselves in many times. So I lost that one, and I rediscovered it, thankfully, recently. And I started to explore again. So what was happening to me, why Baba Yaga happened to me, what I'm thinking personally now, it happened to me because probably that's just one of the reasons. And when you are going to think about yourself, it could be similar thing. We are living in the world when we are limited powerfully now. There are certain words I cannot say on YouTube. There are certain words that certain esoteric psychological circle tells you to not use because you're too negative, you are too maybe abusing the words, or you shouldn't say it this way. It's the bad language you are using. Stop right now, or don't get scared. So we are in the world that is actually trapping us, wanting to do something good, wanting to be perfect. And yet we as human beings, we are not. And it's just life. So this is why Baba Yaga happened to me. And she can happen in anything like symptoms, relationships, world situations, dreams you get every now and then, or some of you every day, every night, or visions, dreaming while awake. And she had this story. And of course, it's very, very hard, normally, I would say, for someone who wants to have a good life, wants to do the right thing or tell the right thing, or has to sometimes control. Sometimes I'm also getting irritated, and coming to the YouTube was a really big thing for me, because you have to be a certain way. You cannot be vulgar. You cannot say you irritated. You maybe sometimes cannot express yourself how you normally would. So I'm learning that as well. And here is when Baba Yaga came and told me, first of all, she became a little bit nasty, and I could not understand her, and probably I wouldn't by myself. I had a great assistance in it. And it happens to us when we, for a long, long time, it could be weeks, it could be years for some people, we're trying to push away our fears, whatever we learned from the society, how you should not be. You should not get scared, so put it away. So then the symptom gets stronger, then the problems in relationships may get stronger, whatever you're going through. And I was putting that also something in my life away so much that then finally I had this feeling I'm really now angry, and this Baba Yaga became very, very angry within me. So when you want to do it yourself, you go directly into the situation and you make a gesture, you make a sound, you make something that will resonate and show without much thinking. And of course, if you're not skilled or you're very much in your position of suffering for any reason, you may need some assistance. I needed that assistance this time very, very much, and I didn't want to deal with that. I was really fed up with everything, and here it goes, comes some nasty creature that's doing more or less like this, like that, like so angry. And of course, who would want to stay in that position? But I was supported by the presence of great people, and I could come to some understanding and becoming, shape-shifting into that energy, that quality. So I could finally understand, I could finally hear the message of that mythological creature. So what Baba Yaga told me. So basically she told me that she's really fed up with all these limitations and everyone should just go away, and she started to be very vulgar, like, she used that word on F that I normally don't use it, especially when I'm on YouTube and I'm doing a video. So she was cursing a lot. She was throwing things. She was very angry and she was fed up and she didn't want to have anybody around her. Later on, I got very, very curious. So when the first bad impression, that creature you are dealing with, that supernatural being you are dealing with in your life is nasty, is evil, it looks like when you pass that state, it has even more to say. So when I got really, really quiet with myself, Baba Yaga was not done. She kept talking, and I barely tried to just note what she was saying. So she told me that she is not alone in that forest. She created that archetype of her being so, so bad, so that other people will leave her in peace. So she can hear her thoughts, she can hear the forest, she can be in touch with the nature. And I asked her, but Baba Yaga, aren't you lonely there? Alone, completely alone in that hut? And she said to me, no, I was more lonely around people who didn't understand me. So there is a message, because that could be that we are really getting lonely when we are not understood, when we have no one there who could really get us. We are usually not lonely by being alone or spending time alone. But we are more lonely in the crowd than being alone in the nature in the forest. So that was my Baba Yaga, and she is enormous power that every one of us probably discovers. Maybe yours will be different. Maybe she will tell you a different story, whatever you need to hear. Maybe it won't be Baba Yaga. It will be another supernatural creature. And how to shapeshift into her. For those of you who are not never work with that, are never try to do that, it could be the first time. You can try it yourself. And I hope this one thing can help to just try to shapeshift into that energy, that essence of whatever is coming at you. So if it's an anger, you can show it in a gesture, in a irritation, in a sound, gesture, in a dance, in something, until the words are coming naturally. But of course, the difficulty here lies into our mind that wants to rationalize everything very quickly and wants to understand. It wants to really, really help us, but sometimes it's too quick. Sometimes getting into that essence is completely allowing ourselves to go into the feeling of it and transform it or show it in a different channel of maybe not the communication, because not everyone can understand, and especially for the first time, but a different way of communicating with us. So changing from the feeling into gesture, from gesture into painting, into changing the form. And it's up to you how it's gonna look like. So what is your supernatural creature? How much do you know about your supernatural creature that it's happening to you recently? Anything that you have to deal with recent months, days? Any fears? Any relationship or situation out there? And how she can help us now or help you in the everyday world. If it's, of course, Baba Yaga, because for somebody, for anybody can be something different. I will get to other entities in another video. Have a lovely day. I am curious what you will make up of your mythological and supernatural being out there. Bye-bye for now.